wrestling fans, are you ready? You better get those Magusta pops. It's time for all the Kayfabe.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime! Welcome to What a Kayfabe Podcast, a pro wrestling podcast. I am your host, the Venomous One, Nick Venom, along with my two good friends, Staggerly Crocker, and the man who is too big for What a Kayfabe. I give you Dan the mother effing man. Tonight, we have a very special guest, GCW wrestler, deathmatch wrestler, the one, the only, I give you Sam Stackhouse. Brother, welcome to the show, man. I think you're frozen.
Cut out, but I can still see everybody moving.
We can edit the intro.
Yeah, my bad. All right,
it'll be fine.
Good to go.
Sam, welcome to the show, bro.
What's
Unfrozen up? Sam, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing on this lovely Monday night?
Oh man, I'm good. It's been a day, so I'm glad to unwind and hang out with you guys for a little bit. It's been fun.
All right. As you can see, we like to start this off with the Magusta Pop because, you know, as our good friend Juice says it about 1 million times, and he did it last week on the JP Dub episode. Might as well get this out the way. Ready?
Me gusta.
Add the acoustics. And one more for Juice.
Me gusta.
I get that little echo in. That was pretty good. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, guys, how are you doing on this lovely Monday night?
Chilling. What are you drinking over there? Pickle juice?
No, it's tequila and Mountain Dew.
Okay, it looked like pickle juice.
That man said he's jacked up on Mountain Dew. Man.
Tequila and Diet Mountain Dew because I'm watching my figure.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to take that one.
Never tried that one.
That's an interesting mix right there because I never heard of a Diet Mountain Dew and tequila mix. Sounds very interesting. Is it good?
I like it.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to try it.
I like tequila and I had Mountain Dew, so just kind of put them together.
He's like, why not mix the shits together?
Yeah.
Well, I'm Talladega Nights because he's jacked up on Mountain Dew.
Jacked up on Mountain Dew.
That's a classic. If anybody doesn't know Talladega Nights, it is absolutely a classic.
Spider Monkey.
That whole scene is just.
I may be 9 years old, but I'll kick your ass. That's the best part.
Generation my ass. Tom Brokaw's a punk. Oh man, no, but this was supposed to be an episode a couple weeks ago, but unfortunately, you got sick. Did you catch the COVID by any chance, or?
Nah, my daughter got strep. And yeah, I thought that I had it, but I was just feeling like crap that day, and I was fine the next day. But she was sick, and now my wife's got it. So
we didn't want you to, be like 50% on the show. We want you to go full throttle, 100% the show.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Dude, I tell you what, I had a pretty interesting weekend. I tell you that. Went to a comic book convention down by where I live. I met the one, the only, the hardcore legend, Mr. Mick effing Foley. That's why I'm wearing my Mankind shirt. The shirt I was supposed to wear, but instead I wore my NWO Wolfpack shirt because I thought that Kevin Nash was going to be there. He didn't show up. Apparently, he had traveling issues. So, Delta... What the hell?
What? Hold on, y'all. No, keep going. It's okay.
Okay, for the whole show, this is what we're doing today. We're covering Dan's face with the What a Kayfabe logo.
Oh my goodness!
Hold on. What the fuck?
Oh boy!
I'm a floating beard. Oh.
You are.
How the fuck?
Vince McMahon's idea come to life.
You gotta turn your ring light off.
Turn the ring light off.
It is on. I had to refresh. It's okay.
There
Oh
he
God,
is.
that had me cracking up.
That's gotta be a reel.
All I was an eyeball and beard.
That needs to be a reel, Joey. You gotta make that a reel. Interview Sam Stackhouse is one thing, but we gotta get a blooper in there. Like we got Kid Cash on there, Bear City Bruiser on there. We're gonna get Sam Stackhouse, obviously. We gotta get Dan's fucking up on the reel.
That was crazy.
Sure, my freezing this. Finally fixed my damn internet. Fixed the damn thing on my computer.
I'm just glad I got a new camera because remember the Kid Cash interview, man?
Oh,
all my
God.
shit kept going.
Thought you was getting hacked by the Undertaker or something.
Dude,
Jesus
literally.
Christ. But I will say this. As a matter of fact, I am now a proud owner of not just one, but both Def Jam games.
Dude, that's nice.
I am inevitable, as Thanos would say.
Bro, hey, did you get Def Jam Vendetta from Davey?
No, as a matter of fact, I didn't. I got it from the con itself. So at the con, they had a special like video game section. And I got this game and I got Midnight Club 3 Double Edition, but it's the remix, which I thought was the better version of the game because it had better, like they improved on the graphics. They improved on like a couple things. They added a couple things as well. And not to mention the fact that the other side was all strictly Japanese gaming, like shit that came from Japan.
Oh, like imports.
Like it's imports. So basically, you'll see this, but instead of like EA Sports Big, it's Chinese or Japanese lettering.
EA Sports.
Exactly. EA Sports.
But hey, the biggest thing is how much did you pay for Def Jam Vendetta?
So normally online, you're looking about a solid 200. The black label like this one, you're looking about 300.
Yes.
$55.
That's not bad.
Davey was there, and Davey like lost it. He's like, "Oh my God, I wouldn't pay that much for that."
Yeah, speaking of that,
greatest hits. Like, dude.
Speaking of Davey, if you're watching this, ho, you need to reach out to me about that SmackDown.
Fuck Davey. Fuck Davey. No, but yeah, I got that. Proud owner of this game and proud owner of this game. This one, however, the meat and the potatoes right here, buddy.
Sam, I don't know if you're a gamer, but that Def Jam Pfeiffer NY, game
I got both.
Expensive.
This one,
crazy. I never would have. I mean, I've never played those games when I was younger, but I never would have guessed that they were expensive. Now,
bro, I'll tell you
that's
this:
crazy.
$120, and that's cheap.
Wow.
Yeah,
compared to what it is on the internet.
I've seen mint factory sealed go for over $1,500.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous
crazy. Like
how
the shit
retro...
that was just crazy. The shit you said when you were a kid, and you just like. It was just something then.
Well,
now
and you know
what freaking blows my brain.
Well, hey, and you know the crazy thing is? Hold on real quick, Joey. You know the crazy thing is? I probably had, when I was young, every game that Nick has, including Def Jam Pfeiffer NY, not thinking, 15 years from now, I can sell this for $600. No, I'm just going to go trade it at GameStop for $8.
Yeah. Well, when I was in like fourth or fifth grade, you know, that like $3 million card or whatever that homeboy wore around his neck.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I had like 3 of those.
Damn.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I'll tell you this.
I
had millions of dollars worth of Pokemon cards. If I could go back and just rob my kid stuff and bring them back, I would.
Oh my God!
I used to play this game on the Nintendo called Cowboy Kid, and I didn't know it back then. It apparently it's really rare now because it's like $200 because it's like a really rare game.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So my backstory again, fight for the NY. I never played it. The only thing was I don't know if you remember this back in the day, but with PlayStation 2, they would come out with like jam packs. It was basically a bunch of demos into one little disc, and they would release it.
Yeah.
And it had like certain games that were playable, and then certain other games that was like a trailer or whatever the case may be. And this one, it was Silent Hill 4, The Room. It was ATV Off-Road Fury 3. Metal Gear Solid, I want to say Snake Eater, And of course, Fight for the NY. And there was like a few other games as well. But like Fight for the NY, it was like, man, I want to check this game out because it's like I'm digging rap. You know what I mean? Like that was like my John Cena phase when I was doing like this, wearing my hats like this. I got the freaking chain, looking like a stupid poser. I had my freaking Tracy McGrady jersey. Like, yeah, bro. Like, what's up? And it was perfect because I was like, man, I want to get Fight for the NY. My mom was like, you're not getting that game. That game, no, you're not getting that game. It's like, why, Mom? It's like, Nick, it's a bunch of rappers. They got Snoop Dogg, and Snoop Dogg's back. It's like, put chips on my nizzle, dog. He's not that bad. What the hell? Like, I was 11 years old, bro. Like, I had no chill. And then finally, last year, in my shelf, in my possession, we had to get it fixed, though. The CD was jacked up. Like, my buddy Davey had 2 discs. One was a loose copy, and it was only for $0.25. Yes, the CD was worth $0.25 because apparently it was like a giant scratch mark on it, and he didn't realize it. And then that one that he's been having had a scratch, and he had his buddy fix it. And it was like, I had to hug the man. I'm like, come here. I don't hug men that often, but you, on the other hand, I will hug you because you just made 11-year-old's dream come true. So it was a cool moment to have that game, and all that good shit. I also got like all the SmackDown games, all the other bullshit. So
nice.
Yeah, I was able to snatch a pop figure for you guys, as you can see.
Nice.
I was able to get that, but that's not the main pop that I'm very happy about. Y'all keep talking. I'm gonna show a certain pop that it belongs to.
So I figure I'd go ahead and just start with the first question really quick. Pretty customary question you've probably answered 20 million times. When did you become a wrestling fan, man? And how did you pursue your wrestling training?
My brother is the one that introduced me to wrestling when I was a kid. So, oh my God, you're gone again.
No, I'm still here. I'm still here.
All I see is a beard, and now your eyeballs are gone. But anyways, it was my brother that got me into wrestling. He's the first one that showed it to me when I was a kid. The first live pay-per-view I remember watching was the ECW pay-per-view.
Oh, nice.
Like 97 or 98 or something like that. I don't remember. But then I immediately fell in love with it. Like, oh snap, that's nice.
I was finally able to snatch a pop figure of one of my all-time favorite wrestlers, the only Razor Ramon. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the dodo with
you
the
gotta
background.
You gotta turn off the virtual background, man. It's not working out.
Yeah,
tonight.
so this was $50, right? My buddy saw it. He's like, "Hey, Nick, look." It's like, "What?" "Oh, thank you." Gave the money. There you go. Fuck you, man. All that. Like, I was excited, bro. Like, they have this, and then it's this variant I was looking for. So hard to find it, and apparently Dan's in San Francisco now. The Golden Gate Bridge. Anyway, but yeah. What was your first pay-per-view? It was ECW, right?
Yep. Yep.
Do you know what was the name of that pay-per-view by any chance?
I was going to remind myself to remember, but
Hardcore Heaven?
No, it was
November to Remember?
I think it was Guilty as Charged, like 97 or 98, one of those two. Or something.
Actually,
but
the RVD Guilty
I
as
thought it was
Charged,
cool back then.
2001 attire, which
Nice.
it's up there. You don't see it, but it's up there. So, as a matter of fact, I should have got signed that belt right there. I thought about it. But I signed the other one instead, the real one. But yeah,
I like this belt too, though.
I didn't. This is where my age is going to show. So, ECW was a pay-per-view or a brand that my mom refused to let me watch. Like, my mom would let me watch WCW. She let me watch WWF. At that time, like during the 90s, WWF was in that attitude era where it was like doing boobies every other night, every other Monday, whatever the case may be. But, we don't want you to watch ECW then. Because they vibe. So I didn't watch ECW up until like almost towards when they like closed the doors. So we had Kid Cash on the show a few episodes ago. And them two Dan and Joey are more familiar with Kid Cash, whereas myself, I knew Kid Cash based off of his WWE run with the cruiserweights and all that good stuff. And I mean, it was fun having him on the show, and it was fun. And Dan's green screen's fucking up yet again.
Speaking of Kid Cash, I think we're gonna have him back on in May. Sometime.
Oh, sick!
Nice.
Yeah, he messaged me the other. He messaged me the other day.
Well, fancy that.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy, man. When you can say that on a daily basis, you talk to an ECW original. I think it's pretty damn cool.
Should get RVD on the show. What?
Yeah.
Whole effing show. I'd be sick. No. We got Sam fucking Stackhouse.
Oh, you must be high.
Yes, match
Thinking he's coming on here.
Yeah, but as I was asking you really quick, man, how did you pursue your wrestling training? Did you go through anybody in particular?
Yeah, like I was at a party. I was like 17 or 18, and I was wearing a wrestling shirt. So me and this guy started talking, and then he told me that there was a place that did like local shows in the town. I was living in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the time, and he told me that there's a place that did local shows. So I started going to shows, and then like at intermission and stuff, they would plug that they had a school or whatever. You wanted to be a wrestler or referee or whatever, you could come train. So I went to the shows and just sat in front row for like the first for 6 months or so, because they ran every Saturday. And I was just going to the shows. And then finally on a Tuesday, I showed up for the training class, paid my $100 to start training. And then I trained that was in February or March. And then I had my first match on October 17th, 2009. So
Nice.
it's been a minute. I'm an old man.
Now, were you always in the deathmatch scene, or is this just something as of last couple of years you just started doing here and there?
Oh no, I just dabble in the death matches. I'm not like every time I tell people that I just dabble in the death matches. I do a few of them a year just because I'm a fan of it, but I'm not a death match guy. Those guys are doing stuff that it's crazy. Some of the stuff these dudes are doing. So I just dabble in it every so often, because especially I'm from Oklahoma and I spent most of my career in Oklahoma, and we have a commission. So I've already pushed the limits of everything I can do here anyway. So. I am having Oklahoma's first death match April 15th though. So that's going to be
cool. That's what Joey was saying. Joey, do you want to say something to him about that?
So how does that exactly work with the commission? Because out here in Missouri, we got like no blood and all that.
Oh, see, we're allowed to bleed. It just it has to be it has to be hard way. So there's no gigging and stuff like that. It's just we're not allowed to use glass and stuff. Basically, we're not supposed to use anything that can slice you or stab you. So that's pretty much as long as we're not using glass. And I've gotten away with using I've pretty much pushed it to the limit, because I use tacks and we've used fire, but we've used glass before, but not I've never taken a light tube in my life. So I haven't dabbled that hard yet. So
What?
I've done everything but light tubes. I've done skewers and fire and barbed wire and everything else.
I was gonna say you took skewers from Masada, dude.
Yeah.
What would you say is the worst?
Oh, the skewers, hands down. Skewers the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And it wasn't even from a pain perspective. I've tried to explain it the best way I can. It was when he was nailing him in my nose, I could hear the crunching, but I could hear it from the inside out. It wasn't like I was hearing something. I could feel it and hear it from the inside, and that was the worst.
That's gotta be brutal.
Golly.
Yeah. I wouldn't suggest it.
What is the most ridiculous thing you saw in deathmatch? By far.
Oh.
As a spectator.
As a spectator. Thank you, Dan.
I was at the last time I was at GCW on New Year's. It was Pondo and Matt Tremont.
Oh, are you talking about the cinder block?
Oh
yeah, dude, the cinder blocks.
I don't know how the cinder block thing.
And then I saw last year at Mania weekend last year in Dallas, it was Pondo and Hoodfoot. And Hoodfoot was underneath the stop sign, and Pondo just yeets the cinder block at the stop sign. I don't know how Mo's still alive. I don't know how. The cinder blocks.
That's a big dude.
That's above my pay grade. The cinder blocks that's above my pay grade, man.
Now I'm going to tread very carefully, because I don't mind the whole deathmatch thing. I can watch it in doses. I can't watch it every match.
Oh yeah.
But I just don't see how somebody could take a fucking cinder block to the head. Like,
Bro, that's what I'm telling you.
Right there, man.
so this is your profession. I'm from the outside looking in. I'm not gonna Jim Cornette this. I just don't see
do that.
No. I just don't see how. Like, I don't mind light tubes and barbed wire, but a cinder block to the head, like,
I look at it the same ways. Like I said, that's why I don't consider myself a deathmatch guy, because I'm like a baby deathmatch guy compared to some of these dudes. Some of these dudes are absolutely crazy.
And it's just as bad as getting the weed whacker across your stomach.
Man, that weed whacker's nuts, man.
Sure.
That weed whacker is.
I think that's by far. For me,
I saw a clip of somebody taking their face. No thank you.
So you know what I think?
Yeah, but right across the cheek.
You know what and this is also, like I said, me looking on the outside. I've never took a weed whacker shot to the stomach, so I can't sit here and say, that doesn't hurt any worse. But are you familiar with Abdullah Kobayashi?
Oh yeah.
So I remember it was years back. He did a TOD for CZW where
he got the shit stuck in his head.
Dude, what are those round things?
Yeah,
it's like
those
a roof thing.
It starts with like a K. They put buildings together.
Because
I can't remember what it's called.
Joey knows this one. Joey knows this one.
It's crazy, bro.
Are you talking about those round things with the spikes and everything? Because I thought that was like
put on a roof.
Yeah,
I thought there was gardening spikes or something.
No, it's made for a roof.
Yeah, they're roofing material.
Because
I don't remember who it was, but he put it on top of his head and fucking hit him with a chair shot, and it drilled him.
And then about a couple months ago, him and like that dude wrestled Hoodfoot, and they recreated the spot.
Dude, it took like 5 of them.
It goes back. Yeah, they had to use pliers to pop.
Dude,
I've heard people tell me stories about it.
They learned how to get on top.
They said the sound.
Actually,
they said it made it.
And you see his scalp just
like
lifting.
It's like rising up.
Yeah,
I remember all
they said it popped when they pulled him out.
Yeah, I remember those backstage.
I
remember all this backstage.
Intense, man.
I remember all the backstage videos they put on the tournament deaths after like all the medical footage they include after. It's like, oh my god.
I still to this day, I think the most cringiest spot is aside from Nick Gage doing the whole thing with the pizza cutter to John Moxley. Is DJ High pulling out those syringe, comes out and he does it like here, and like the needle goes through the cheekbone.
I got a buddy. One of my good friends, Dimitri Alexandrov. You can look him up. That's like his new favorite spot to do because I did a show on Sunday, and him and one of my other buddies, Morrison, had a death match, and he takes him in the mouth. And one time it was Dimitri Hoodfoot and this really good guy from Texas named Sky De La Cremosa. And it was probably one of the best death matches I've seen live, but it was just in the wrong place. They got the bar shut down because they bled in the ball. So they had, it was brutal. But they did a spot where Dimitri had the syringes in his mouth.
Yeah.
And, well, first he held their hands down and he put them in their fingers like they were Wolverine. It was awful. Then they cut him off and pulled him out their hands and put him in his mouth. And then he took a brain buster from Hoodfoot with the.
Oh my god!
It was one of the craziest things.
That is gnarly. Son of a bitch!
Yeah. It was crazy.
It's funny. I've always had the fear of like when I would go to the dentist and that they'd stick the injection right through my cheek, and now I see wrestlers doing that shit.
That's just a thing.
I mean, by far, my respect goes out to those people that actually put their bodies on the line, literally for that, for our entertainment.
When Nick Gage died.
Nick Gage died.
Literally,
Yeah. I remember like there was one spot in, I believe it was Mexico. It was some guy, I forget his name, but it was like an older gentleman, but he came out with a cinder block. They were having a hardcore match, and the dude had a cinder block, and he threw it. There was no stop sign. There was nothing. Yeah. He literally, like, legitimately threw a cinder block and hit the dude in the head with it.
Yeah, that dude. You could literally call him a piece of shit.
Yeah,
because it was an uncalled spot. The dude that got hit had to end up having brain surgery.
Yes,
that's fucking ridiculous, dude.
That was on the top 10 wrestling. So shout out to that guy for putting that on there because I never knew.
Yeah, see, because it's people like that that give deathmatch wrestlers such a bad thing. Because there's some deathmatch wrestlers that are. I mean, I would put their actual wrestling ability, take away all the glass and everything, up against some of the top people in the country or in the world. Some of these guys, but I mean, and some of these guys, they make it. They don't just go out there and like bloody each other up for no reason. Like they still tell stories and stuff with the glass and everything. Like they come up with new and different ways every single time, other than just hitting each other with light tubes. Like they come up with all kinds of creative ways. Like every time I'm at one of these deathmatch shows, I see something new of them coming up with something. So it's a lot more of a creative style of wrestling that I don't think gets enough like credit for how creative it is. Because of people like that who will just go out and throw a cinder block at somebody's head without doing, without making it better than just throwing a cinder block at someone's head,
For example, there's Necro Butcher who everybody thought was just deathmatch, but he's a pretty good brawler. If you go watch like Necro Butcher versus Samoa Joe from ROH, that match is just so brutal.
You know what? You know what?
I just watched that on Honor Club the other day.
Yeah,
nice.
Was that ROH? I thought that was IWA Mid-South. Am I wrong?
No, it was.
No.
Yeah,
You're right.
ROH.
They did one for
Yeah,
IWA Mid-South.
yeah, they toured it around.
Yeah.
That's one promotion I can't do. IWA, like the whole Ian Rotten thing. Like after watching,
he's not
the
great.
Queen of Deathmatch, where it's what's her name?
Mickey Knuckles.
Mickey Knuckles.
I love
Mickey's awesome. By any means, she's awesome. But that spot with Michael Levi, like, ooh.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, the dude was talking smack and all that shit, and
she is an intense woman.
She shoot the shit with this dude. I mean, like, I rewatched the other day, and like kind of getting stuff for the show, like kind of get everything situated for the show, and it's just like, holy shit! Like, and I'm friends with Mickey on Facebook. I'm friends with her. She's pretty cool. I've thought about bringing her in on What a Kayfabe to have as a guest on the show. I digress. Like, seeing that spot, it's like, oh, and then Ian Rotten comes out and beats the shit out of this innocent guy.
Yeah.
It's like that type of shit, in my opinion, gives deathmatch a bad name when you got guys like
it definitely does.
Oh, well, yeah, he ruined wrestling in
he's blacklisting wrestling.
Yeah. He ruined wrestling in that state. I can't remember where IWA is. Indiana?
It was Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Kentucky. He got wrestling outlawed for like 10 years in Kentucky.
Yeah, he ruined the scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now
it's crazy.
Now I know you said that you dabble in death matches every now and then. Was there anybody that ever, or were there anybody in particular that influenced you to be like, hey, maybe I should try this death match thing as a fan? Like, your Nick.
Well, I mean, like I said, my first exposure to wrestling was ECW. So I automatically fell in love with just the harder, just crazy people flying everywhere, throwing stuff people's style. And Mick Foley was one of my favorites growing up. Abyss, like I've always loved these dudes. So I've always liked deathmatch wrestling, I guess. So, but now like I'm in the perfect time where it's kind of like a blossoming thing where, like I said, people are doing different things with it. You can have a good deathmatch without just like slicing each other's throats with glass. Yeah. Like there's people that are actually that are respected in doing this, and then there's other people like we were just talking about that just go out there and just try to legitimately kill each other. So but like you brought up Thick Nick Mondo. He actually is probably will go down as the savior of deathmatch wrestling, like one of the creators of deathmatch wrestling today. But he also said, like, the best example he set was like, do you see that Drew Parker retired from deathmatch wrestling?
Yeah,
like last week or like.
Oh yeah, I heard about it.
That's Nick. Yeah, that's Nick Mondo's influence because he was one of the guys that was smart enough because Nick he retired at like 23.
Yeah,
it's been 15 years since Nick Mondo even wrestled.
Yeah,
like he was retired. He was retired 5 or 6 years before I even started wrestling.
So hey,
it's been almost 20 years.
Who was that super fan in CZW that like emulated himself after?
What's his name?
He was
Rory Mondo.
Brother. Yeah, you know whose brother that is?
Who?
That's Drew Gulak's brother.
No shit. No shit.
Yeah, that's Drew Gulak.
Dude, that's pretty interesting. Brother.
Now I wonder.
He did the same thing. He retired too because Sick Nick Mondo came back in like 2009, 2010, as like a run in. Was it 13? I knew
it was like a surprise entry or whatever.
It was because that was that dude's last. He was retiring.
I watched
he was because it was awesome. Cage of death.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because it was awesome because there was like they showed a shot. I watched this little documentary thing. There was like a shot of that Rory kid on Sick Nick Mondo's like shoulders when that kid was a teenager. And then they recreated the shot at his last match. He put him up on his shoulders like 10 years later or whatever. And it was pretty cool. But that was Sick Nick Mondo's.
I believe that was either the trade. I want to say it was from the trade.
Yeah, it's called the trade. Yeah, yep.
That was oh my god, such a great documentary.
That's great. Yeah, that's good.
I freaking loved it.
Good stuff.
So here's a funny story I have. We tried to get Nick Mondo on the show last year. That did not go well. So apparently, and this is how. And I might as well. Can I talk about it? Is it cool?
Yeah.
Okay. So I reached out to Sick Nick Mondo about 2 times. I said, hey, look, we got this up and coming podcast called Water Kayfabe. I would love to have you on the show and talk about your time at CZW, talk about your movies, your anything. It doesn't have to be wrestling. You know what I mean? And he was like, all right, cool. I'm actually in the middle of doing some like productions and I'm kind of busy at the moment. Check back with me later on and we'll try to do something. So like a few months kind of passed by and I was like, hey, I don't know if you're still busy or not, but the offer still stands if you want to be a guest on the show. And what I got back was, no offense to you, I'm done with wrestling. I don't want to talk about wrestling. Plus, I watched the episode, and this is the episode where Vince retires. And the first, 5 minutes was myself getting cussed at, and we made a lot of dick references. Doesn't want to be part of that. Now, I can understand that from his side of the thing. I can understand from a viewer standpoint. But come on, dude. Like, we're over here. We're trying to have fun. Yes, we're guys. We're going to make freaking dick references. Freaking Joey's got a Pickle Rick shirt on. I mean, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, Rick and Morty. You can't get any raunchier than that. I love Rick and Morty. But at the same token, it's like...
My dog's name is Morty.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I was pissed. I was legitimately pissed because it's like, I felt like I let Dan and Joey down because it's like,
it was probably more of him just being done with wrestling because he hasn't done anything wrestling related.
I mean, he worked with AEW. He did the productions for AEW.
Well, yeah, but he does production stuff.
Yeah, but he's gone.
He did Moxley's that video. Yeah, that video that Moxley made when he got released or whatever. I think he did that. I think Mondo did that.
But
yeah,
such a good promo though. My God, such a good video.
Oh, for sure. But you can tell if you watch the trade, you can tell that he is. I mean, he's soured on wrestling once. If you put your body through what he put his body through, I
mean, the dude fell off a damn roof. I mean, he fell off a two-story freaking building and almost died. If you watch the trade, I mean, he explained it. He's like, dude, I almost died. Because he couldn't feel shit from the waist down, from what I was told or from what I was heard. And then years later, Janela did the same exact spot, only it was a bigger building. And he almost died.
Him and all those guys. Those guys are the ones that created deathmatch wrestling. The stuff they did is, they took bumps. Because I always tell people too, the reason I'm not a full blown deathmatch wrestler is you can hit me with whatever, but some of the bumps these guys be taking.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to throw myself off a building. That's crazy.
It's like, I'm a big dude. I don't fly like that, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
If I fall off, game over.
I'll jump off a stage. I'll jump off the ropes. I'll dive out of the ring. I'll do all that. But off a building, they gonna have that.
Well, let me ask you this: Have you ever had a ridiculous high spot happen to you?
Where I caught somebody, or I jumped.
Oh, or
I do dives all the time, but I've done suicide dives, I do over the top dives, I do all that. I've jumped off the stages, but the craziest one I've ever caught was I was wrestling Chris Carter. I don't know if you guys know him. I was wrestling him, and we were in this fire station, and it had to have been It was easily 20 feet, and he jumped out like the thing that they slide before they slide down the pole. He jumped. He where that's at. He jumped out the window. So he skipped the pole and everything. He just jumped out the window onto me, and it was pretty intense. It was like I said. He was at least like 18 to 20 feet in the air. It was pretty crazy. So that's been the craziest like high. And at GCW, I was in a scramble. And they did a poison rod off the top outside onto everybody, and that was pretty crazy.
Yeah. You admit, I was going to say, you had mentioned that you had idolized Abyss when you were growing up. Yep. And I know you had wrestled him. How was that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was fantastic. I got to have four matches with him. And like I learned more in that 4 or 5 months than that man is incredible.
Did you have 10,000?
Like he still gives me advice and stuff. He's saying, "Oh, he did, yeah." We had a monster. I had a Monsters Ball with the creator of the Monsters Ball, so that's fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a triple threat. I hit a black hole slam in front of Abyss.
Yeah, Abyss
that was pretty crazy.
You can ask Nick and Joey. I've always been a fan of Abyss.
Yeah. Abyss is great. I love that he's hired in WWE and doing all the backstage stuff since.
And he deserves
it. I was his last match before he got hired. We had our last match a week and a half before the Rumble, and his first day was Rumble. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of Abyss like during his prime days.
Yeah.
Once he got like off into like decay and stuff like that, I lost the ability to watch TNA at the time, so I kind of
same.
But Abyss in his prime, underrated.
He's fantastic.
That is
underappreciated.
Yes, underrated.
He's always been accused of being like a Mankind ripoff. Like I don't even associate him with that, but whatever.
No, I would have said Kane ripoff maybe, but
apparently,
it was just a mask.
Yeah,
apparently, and I've heard this from multiple sources that he did get an offer from WWE to do a program with the Undertaker at WrestleMania 23, but he was such a TNA diehard.
Yeah, he talked about it in his Hall of Fame speech.
I remember that. I remember
he confirmed it. Yeah. He got an offer to go wrestle Taker at Mania.
And just think if that would have happened.
He wanted to stick with Impact.
You think he was big back then. Just think if you would have wrestled The Undertaker and then beat The Undertaker. Which it wouldn't happen. But just think.
I imagine he wouldn't go win. But
you know what, though?
But it would have been cool.
I would have been happy for him. But you also got to think on the flip side, like, what would WWE have done to the character Abyss?
Yeah.
They wouldn't. It wouldn't be like the TNA Abyss.
No.
He's more of a he's more of he's like a wrestler's wrestler because he's here to make sure that he not only does he succeed, but he's one of the few guys I've met that legitimately wants everybody else around him to succeed too. So he made the choice. He could go sign this probably $1 million contract or something like that. Or he could stay and help finish building what he has started to help him build.
Yeah.
And now he's a TNA Hall of Famer, and he works at WWE now for the past. It's been 3 years now, or so he's been there.
Something like that.
And I don't see him not working there anytime soon. So
because I remember I remember during our Kid Cash interview, we brought it up. I think Nick brought him up because Abyss came in as Kid Cash's like hired gun essentially.
Yeah.
And Nick asked Kid Cash, how was it with Abyss backstage? He goes, couldn't have been any nicer. He said the guy was such a teddy bear.
Yep.
I remember those matches. One of my favorite Abyss matches is him against AJ Styles in a steel cage match.
Oh, the cage?
Lockdown 2005 for the NWA
such a fun match,
Championship.
Bro. And then he took that, oh my God, that most brutal spot when Abyss slammed that door.
The cage, the door?
Face.
Bro, that was
cringy, but I was like, oh.
Bro, Abyss took a Styles Clash face first into thumbtacks.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I got a funny story about that.
Wild.
Because I told Abyss that I had a spot that I wanted to do where I had them on the tacks and they move out the way and I missed the frog splash into it. And he was adamant that I don't do that because he said that bump was like top 5 worst bumps he ever took. because he got like a thumbtack stuck in his sternum or some shit. And then I obviously didn't listen, and I did the spot, but but it worked out. I didn't get a thumbtack in my sternum, so it worked, or in my face or anything, so it worked out. Although I have had it in my face. So I took curb stomping the thumbtacks one time. That was two of them because the person that I was wrestling felt like there wasn't enough tacks in my face after the first one.
Jesus Christ!
Let's do another one, Sam. You got
enough facial piercings. I just need to get a couple more.
Right? Yeah.
Freaking Prince Albert.
Best man. Is the person who was the best man at my wedding did that to me, so that's fun. That's how wrestling.
Well, you know what?
Awesome.
Y'all two could share that bond for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, cheers. Hey, remember when you smashed my face?
I was the best man at his wedding twice.
That man said twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Well, he had a secret wedding that's not so secret anymore in Vegas the year before his real wedding. Oh, it was just me, it was just me, his wife, me, and my wife the first year, and the next year was in front of everybody. So
there you go.
we got to do it twice.
Now, hey, I gotta ask you a question since I'm down here in Houston. What have you worked in the Loko crowds? Are they pretty hostile? Because I know there was wasn't there like an event where they completely trashed the ring?
Oh God!
Yeah. It was probably like. I wouldn't consider wrestling the safest working environment to begin with, but that was definitely like they weren't even mad at me, but that was still definitely the most like hostile room I've ever been in because what's crazy about that whole feud is that none of that was supposed to even happen. I was supposed to wrestle Carlito at that Loko show, but Carlito had some family stuff come up, so he couldn't make it. So we threw this thing happened like 2 weeks before the show. I did a triple threat and lost the title to Kiefer Bartek. And then he said, like, he put the title on fire and threw it in the trash can. And like the local people are crazy anyways. So like they had this whole thing, like if I didn't win the title back, that they were going to riot and shit. So we decided to see if it was going to happen. So Brian Keith came out and turned on me and cost me the match. And then like one person threw one beer. And then it just started raining, just beer cans and bottles. And then luckily, like we got out of the ring, and then the chairs started flying in. It was insane. It was definitely it was awesome and scary at the same time because like it was awesome because like as a wrestler to get a reaction like that, that's literally the reason that like wrestlers are go their entire lives and not get a reaction like that. So being a part of that was one of the best moments of my life, but it was also scary because it was real. Like it was different because I was like, it was often like that whole dream of mine to have a reaction like that. Because you hear like flares and all them talk about how awesome it was in the back. Yeah. Like, they might come out, their tires
batteries.
Or they might get stabbed, they get shit thrown at them. And like you hear about that, you're like, yo, as a wrestler, you're like, yo, that would be freaking fantastic to live. But then like in the moment when shit's flying everywhere and like it's not a work. Like I mean, there was like those people were legitimately mad throwing shit everywhere. So it was probably the most awesome like few minutes of my life and some of the scariest few minutes of my life. But yeah, the Loko fans there. I mean, Houston has been absolutely insane to me. Like Houston's literally changed my life because I wrestled in Texas for the first time back in 2016, and I didn't wrestle again in Houston until that first GCW show I did like last July or July before last, whatever it was. And that was the first time I wrestled in Houston, or the first time I'd ever wrestled in Houston, but only the second time I ever wrestled in Texas. And the reaction I got after that at that GCW show made me get more GCW things. I got to do that thing with Matt Cardona. Ooh. And then I got to go to the Hammerstein and do the thing with Matt Cardona too. So that was all because of Houston. And I wrestled GCW. Yeah, I wrestled GCW before I wrestled at Loko. And then the local fans in Houston have they've actually absolutely changed my life, for real.
Let me hang on, Ed. Let me ask you this: how was it going from the local wrestling crowd to the Hammerstein Ballroom, where it's like a packed house, a bunch of New York fans, and you know how they are if you watch ECW? How was that like going there as a wrestler?
Oh, it was panic attack inducing. Dude, it was absolutely insane. It was insane. It's crazy because I was talking to one of my buddies who wrestles on TV, and he was and I was telling him, I was like, I don't know how you use I get if I wrestle in front of like I've wrestled in front of 5 people. I've wrestled in front of 5,000 people now. But like, I cannot imagine walking out into like one of these stadiums that's got like 25, 30, 100,000 people at freaking WrestleMania. Like, I don't, because it like that he explained it right. Like, it's like a blur, because even at the Hammerstein, there was like 4,000 people there or whatever.
Right.
But it's like a blur, like, because you can't go out there, like, you can't pick out, like, when you're walking down the ramp and in the ring stuff, you can't pick out like one individual person or anything like that. It's just like, it's just a blur, and you're just in there trying to do your thing, and it's intense. But the Hammerstein was a great experience. I got to go to the Hall of Fame thing the night before.
That's cool.
That was freaking. I got to hang out with people that like a year or a few months before that I would have had to pay to hang out with, or to like even meet. And I was in the locker room and stuff with them, hanging out in the like it was like, and that's why, like, it's talking about Houston and GCW and everything, like, they've changed my life, because my life went from 0 to 100 real quick about a year and a half ago. And it's
I'm seriously gonna have to check out another GCW versus Loko show next time it comes here, just so I could say I've been to a GCW show.
I have yet to be at a Houston like wrestling show, and Dan always raves how, like, dude, the wrestling scene in Houston is amazing. I mean, you got guys like Brian Keith, who is absolutely killing it in the independent scene.
He's the best unsigned. He's the best unsigned wrestler.
Trying to get that man on the show, man. Right, spread the good word.
And I will die on that hill.
I actually sent him a message while we were doing the episode. I believe it was either Kid Cash or it was the Cody Rhodes episode, if I'm not mistaken. It was one of those episodes, and I remember like, hey guys, let's get Brian Keith on the show. I mean, we got Sam Stackhouse. We can definitely get. If we can get Sam Stackhouse, hey, we can.
Fantastic.
So it's like, and plus, I've always wanted to interview him. I mean, the dude's absolutely amazing. I watched him in Palais Pro down in Houston, which is another wrestling promotion.
I've worked there before.
Yeah. A friend of mine, El Nastico, I think his name is Nastico. He's over there. Met him last year.
I got kicked in the nuts by Nastico 2 weeks ago.
He was actually down here a couple weeks ago.
I Wrestle Rave. I wrestled Bo Amir at Wrestle Rave a couple weeks ago, which is one of his. It's a person Nastico manages. It's like a 7 foot tall dude. And I wrestled him at Wrestle Rave a couple weeks ago. And, Nastico kicked me in the wing.
He liked my Penta El Zero Mideo cosplay. He brought another guy with him, and I was like, dude, I gotta get a picture with you. And I had asked him to be a part of the podcast, but we never really talked about it. Love to get him on the podcast. I know.
Yes, I didn't know you guys were from Houston. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, well, I am.
Dan's from Houston. I'm next door to Dan. I'm from Louisiana.
Right. And I'm in St. Louis.
So we like to try
completely different areas.
So
I'm in Oklahoma, so I'm just in between all of them.
Pretty much. Well, you're more up north to Dan than you are to me.
Yeah.
So basically, it's myself, Dan, and Joey. That's basically what we were. Our actual podcast name was almost called the Bermuda Triangle or the Death Triangle Podcast, because that's basically what we were. We were a giant triangle because I live here, Dan lives here, Joey lives there. So, and it's like my buddy Dave is like, oh, well, I got a booth for RetroCon. How come you can't get a What a Kayfabe booth? Well, it's stupid if you don't realize 2 of my co-hosts, my producer lives all the way in Bumfuck, Missouri. The other one lives in freaking Houston. How about you want to pay the airline tickets and come down to Louisiana? No. Okay, then don't worry about What a Kayfabe. You're the media manager. Know your role.
It only takes me about 3 hours to get to your place.
In the words of the great Scott Hall,
I got mine.
Don't sing it, bring it, Chico. So,
are you near? Hold on. Where is this at?
I'm actually near New Orleans. If that makes any sense.
Well, I can't look right now because it's on this phone. Because I'm making my Louisiana debut in June sometime.
Oh shit!
I don't remember where, but at what's it called? Bayou Independent Wrestling or something like that.
Okay,
I'll be there because I work for them in Mississippi, but they do Mississippi, Louisiana, and Arkansas, and I guess there's a show on the Friday night in Louisiana, and then the Saturday in Arkansas. I think
we have
maybe Saturday and Sunday.
we have a wrestling promotion called Action Pack Wrestling that's coming back. They're gonna be in Plaquemine, and I'll be there along with my good friend Mr. Preston Bentley, who's a manager. He's from the group called House of Bentley, one of my best friends. He'll be part of the show, and like a lot of people from that area, and it's like almost towards Baton Rouge area, and I'll be making my Plaquemine debut.
Nice.
You know, I had another ticket.
Louisiana's another one of the hard ones because of the promotion or the commission there.
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't never lying, bro.
Yeah.
Dude,
I think Missouri. It's a tie between. It may be a tie between Missouri and Louisiana.
I hate the Missouri Commission because because of this. I'm in St. Louis, so I'm near the Illinois border. So every show is actually hosted in Illinois mostly, because everybody goes because they have
but
no
they call it
commission.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
I know. Because the GCW shows they say St. Louis, but they weren't in St. Louis.
Yeah.
So with us, Louisiana, we have a freaking commission as well. But we had a steel cage match last year. We had a steel cage match and a TLC match combined. Nice. And we had a guy that climbed up and this was, I believe it was an 18-foot steel cage.
Yeah, it was a big-ass cage.
He climbed the cage, and when he got to the very top, the cage shaked a little bit. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, either this dude's going to have a holy shit moment or we're going to have another Owen Hart moment where he falls, but it's right there on the ground. And it's like, oh my God. But he ended up doing the spot well, and it was freaking amazing. And then there was actually blood, which is like, oh, well, what the hell? We're not supposed to have blood. What the fuck?
But like,
that's crazy.
I'm not saying ECW did this all the time, but at least in Missouri, when they came here, they actually strapped a blood bag to the underneath the table.
Oh, that's sick.
Well, see, Missouri's main problem is not even like the rules that you have to follow. It's they charge you have to pay $1 for a ticket you sell.
Yeah.
And even if you give a ticket away, if you give a comp ticket to somebody, they still charge you. So if you do a charity show, you still have to pay them $1 for every person that comes to the charity show.
And
that's the part that I'm like.
And I know you have to have an ambulance on site all the time. All the females have to get pregnancy tests.
And I mean that I'm not necessarily against that one because some of these chicks, as a wrestler, I know the crazy stuff I would do like that if it was wrong with me and still wrestle. And I know good and well some of these chicks would still wrestle if they was pregnant. So
probably.
I'm not against that one. And because I'm not even against the commissions. Like I think that you should have to have license and get I'm okay with getting physical and blood work. I'm okay with all that. But when they come in and with the certain states that treat wrestling like it's MMA and stuff like that, those places need to chill a little bit. If you're having to do blood pressure tests and they're checking for real, checking your gear and all this stuff. Because I've had people there's one time a commissioner in Oklahoma, she actually got in trouble because she was trying to check people's bags. And whenever they get to stuff like that, that's too much. Like I said, I'm okay with getting the physical every year, getting the blood work done every year. I'm perfectly fine with that because I think if we're bleeding all over each other, we probably should be getting our blood checked. That's not a thing that I'm against. Yeah, but like I said, whenever you're having if you have a charity show and you're trying to raise money for something, and you have 200 or 300 people come up for that show, and you've got to give $300 to the commission. Yeah, that's a little bit much. Yeah,
it seems like a cash grab basically by the state.
Oh, it definitely is. Yeah, for sure.
No, 100%. Hey, let me ask you a question real quick, brother. Do you have any Houston dates coming
snap. Up? I'll be there April 15th for a deathmatch tournament. So,
promotion.
Speaking of that, Wrestle Rave. It'll be at the same place that Loko's at.
The Houston Premier Arena.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I heard you say.
The Wrestle Rave. It's called the. Yeah, I know. I like that. Yeah, it's called the Death Triad tournament. I did it last year too, and I'll be in it this year again. Last year I got shot with a Nerf gun that had thumbtacks on the end of the bullet.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Last year. Oh, it was so crazy. So it's like a deathmatch tournament where they're triple threats. So there's 9 people or whatever. And there's 2 triple threats, and then the main event's triple threat. So, but every match had weird stipulations. So ours was a thumbtack shot match or some shit like that. Thumbtack Jello shot match. So there was like a swimming pool full of thumbtacks. There's probably 20,000 thumbtacks or some shit. And like they're poured out immediately. So everything we do in the star match, there's thumbtacks everywhere. But every 90 seconds, we had to stop and take Jello shot. And mind you, they did not work these Jello shots. So these were legitimately pretty strong Jello shots. So we're in this death match, and every 90 seconds, it was me, Hardbody, and Casanova Valentine. So, and also in this tournament, I'm the only like not deathmatch guy. And this year, it's even crazier because this year they've got Hoodfoot in it, Dr. Redacted, Madman Pondo's doing it. Like, there's like legitimate deathmatch people in it this year. So it's gonna be crazy. But Satu Jin is in it too, so there's gonna be some pretty like. But anyway, so we have to take every 90 seconds. We've got to take this Jello shot. So through the match, and we go. It's probably like a 17 to 18 minute match, something like that. So we're progressively, legitimately getting a little tipsy by the time this match is over with. And then always when I'm in Houston now, like all the fans they'll be passing me joints and stuff too. So I'm legitimately getting a little jacked up during this match. It's great, and like we're bleeding everywhere. It was crazy. That stuff like that only happens at the Houston Premier Arena. That place is it's a whole little vibe thing because like people don't come there. Like I always tell people, Loko is so special because it's not just a wrestling show to the fans that come there. Like it's like a time for them to see their friends. Like the GCW show versus Loko show last time, it was in like February or something like that, and there's no air conditioning or heating in this building. No, so it's like there you could see like I went back and I wrestled Dante Leone on that match for the Loko title, and you can see our breath. It's so cold, and so like at intermission they have to set up this cage for the main event, and it takes them like 45 minutes. The fans are legitimately outside, and they started a bonfire in the alley. And like the first time I came to this arena, I pulled the corner, and there's like a dude taking a shit on the corner.
Oh my god!
So, yeah, dude, the Houston Premier Arena it's a whole ass vibe to itself. It's like Loko's experience and not just a wrestling show. It's crazy.
My buddy Jesse, if you're watching, goes to a lot of the Loko shows. He says it's almost like a fucking stoner promotion. Like
it is. It definitely is 100%. They had a dime bag a dime bag in the bank match. Yeah, they had a dime bag in the bank match, or a dime bag in the bank ladder match. Yeah.
Oh,
so it was a briefcase of weed in it.
RVD, if you're watching this, go to wrestling.
Yeah, sign up for this one, bud.
Sign up for this one. Go.
It's fantastic. But like I said, it's just a whole vibe. Like it's a whole little family thing down there.
Didn't they shut it down?
I might know your friend. No, like that. Like he's just taking a break because there's another local show in there.
Oh, okay.
So he just need a little break. I
told my buddy Jesse that you were coming on the show. He's like, man, fuck, tell it, dude. I said, what's up? And he was like,
what's his last name?
He was, what's that?
What's his last name?
Ortman, Jesse Ortman.
Well, I probably know him because, like I said, if he knows me and he talked to me in Houston, I probably know him.
Well, he was like, man, I need to see if I can get you Ninja Max information. He's like Ninja Max, one cool fucking dude.
Well, he did. I got him hooked up on another podcast I did, so I'll put in the word for you. Because I did another one a month or so ago, and he was still in Japan, and they interviewed him from Japan.
Yeah, because he was doing Noah, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's home now for I think it was like 2 weeks, and then he's going back for 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
dude, the dude's fun to watch. I will say that I've watched him in GCW a couple times, and
he hasn't even done like
it's not. He's not even his full potential.
It's like 10%, bro. Yeah. It's like 10% of what he can actually.
Didn't he have a match? Dude, was it Mike Bailey? He had a match with that was like very good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was like I don't think he's capable of having a was it Joey Janela? They had like a scaffold.
No, it was Speedball, and who was also another. That dude is.
Oh, dude, that dude's fun.
That dude's been instrumental for me. Like he watches my matches and
he's like one of the greatest. But he's the greatest right now.
My favorite wrestler in Impact right now.
Yeah.
Isn't he fighting? And who's he wrestling at? The next GCW event, or no, Coda? No,
he's wrestling
Suzuki. That's not at GCW. That's at Impact. But he's wrestling Ibushi on Mania weekend.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
He's got
it.
Ibushi. He's got Ibushi and Ospreay on Mania weekend.
I forgot to let you know, Dan. This is for you.
What's up, Bubba?
In addition to meeting Mick Foley, I met the one, the only, the man that did Jason Voorhees.
Nice. Kane Hodder.
I met the one, the only, the legendary Kane Hodder. I tried real hard to get him on the show, but he's like, I don't do wrestling podcast, brother. It's like,
dude, you know what'd be a badass match to see? That's fucking cool. Let's fantasy book just for 10 seconds. Ninja Mac versus, okay, if I'm saying his name wrong, I'm sorry. Vikingo,
bruh.
Vikingo, dude. Yes.
Take all of my money. Take every single bit of money.
Dude, did you see him at that GCW show do that springboard off the middle rope 630 through the table?
Like, insane.
Yeah. Bro, like him and Joey, on New Year's, they still couldn't show Vikingos matches yet because it was New Year's Eve. I think it was like New Year's Day they could or whatever. But him and Joey had a freaking it was crazy.
No, you're talking about Janela, right?
Insane. Yeah. They had a freaking crazy match on New Year's Eve. It was freaking
another
insane.
good one that's pretty fun to watch. Alex Zane.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Alex Zane. Sure. I remember watching him. Was it Backyard Wrestling?
Sauce guy.
Yeah, the sauce dude. Guy who he did like a 630. Like he did a springboard. I believe it was a 630, and he hit somebody through a door. It was insane.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the Backyard shows.
Oh yeah.
I think it was the very first one. Like that was my introduction to Alex Zane. I'm like, this dude's gonna be big. Yeah. Like, and sure enough, he was in WWE. He was in it. But it was like,
I was gonna say he was in NXT for a while, but
he was in NXT.
Wasn't he on AEW too? For a cup of coffee?
A little bit.
He might have been, yeah.
It was like one of the dark episodes, if I'm not mistaken.
Everybody's doing everything now. So.
Yeah.
Are you? Is there anything particular Mania weekend other than Mania you're looking forward to, man? Like the Collective?
Well, I got the Collective, yeah. So
yes!
I don't know,
dude.
Don't know what I'm doing,
get the Collective. I have to.
Yeah,
dude. And then Impact is kind of doing.
Be there for you pay that $4.99 for Fight Plus. They'll all be on there.
Yeah. I might have to subscribe to Fight Plus because I have yet to do it.
No, I was saying. Oh, good.
Joey did it. I believe Joey's got Fight Plus.
I subscribed to that day one when it got announced.
Me too.
I have yet. I just haven't had yet. I think my toilet's still running. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, I was going to say that Impact is kind of doing their own version of Forbidden Door, man. They just announced either today or yesterday Kenta versus Minoru Suzuki. Like,
that's going to be a fun.
That's crazy.
That's going to be a hard hitter.
And then and there another. They announced another match. I don't remember what it was.
That's what they're doing. Speedball versus Kenta, or not Kenta, but Speedball versus Ibushi is on that show too.
That's it. Okay,
it's either that one or Speedball versus Ospreay. Because I know Ospreay.
No, it's Speedball versus Ospreay. So. It's Ibushi.
Is it on that one? Yeah.
The Ibushi
versus
GCW
Speedball
one.
and Bloodsport.
Okay, yeah. Ibushi's GCW.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, and then
Bloodsports,
Will Ospreay and Speedball is at the other one.
Another.
Still.
I feel like Speedball could do so much, and the man's got so much potential. But the crazy thing is, he's been wrestling for 15 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and I think he just wrestled in Canada at one point.
Yeah,
he couldn't come to the US.
Well, because he's from Canada. Yeah, he couldn't come here for 5 years.
Visa issues.
Yeah.
So it's like now he's coming to the States, and man, he's been killing it on the indie scene.
Yeah, because it was crazy because on New Year's Eve he could wrestle, but then on New Year's Day he couldn't wrestle because his visa expired on New Year's. He had to go back to Canada for a week.
That's one guy.
So
now where is Speedball from?
Canada.
I just said Canada.
Is it Canada? Oh, God.
Yeah, he's from Canada. Yeah, he's French Canadian. He's got a crazy real name that I can't pronounce.
And then he's married to
John
Veda.
Pierre.
I think her name is
Veda Scott.
Veda Scott.
Yeah, it's John. Yeah, it is something like that. It's
she's doing the announcing for GCW now.
It's Emil something crazy.
MLJ or something like that.
Well, that MLJ is that's the ring announcer for GCW, but Speedball's name is something crazy French.
Speaking of ring announcers, I know this is kind of a little out of left field, but you hear who's going to XPW, dude? Fucking Larry Legend from CZW.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
It's a random acquisition.
I know, and Nick is stunned. Nick is stunned that I said Larry Legend is coming.
He's so stunned he froze.
Dude, he is so baked right now.
Larry Legend coming to XPW.
Nick, you were so frozen. You look like you were baked off your ass, dude. You were literally like this, bro.
Well, I mean, I tried to fix my internet the best I could.
No, it's working a lot better. It's working a lot better.
It's not freezing up like it was with Beer City Bruiser. But yeah, Larry Legend, an absolute great ring announcer, underappreciated in my opinion. He does all the no holds barred shit. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, but I'm taking a very strong liking to the GCW announcer. I can never remember what his name is.
MLJ.
I like
Here's the
that.
thing.
Yeah.
I like him.
Oh, he's fantastic.
He's fantastic. But man, his choice of clothes, man, like
dude, his choice of clothes.
That's the point.
On him.
He got that drip, boy. 'Cause those are vintage shirts he wears.
It was a Razor Ramon shirt. It was one of the shows, and I'm just like, I want that fucking shirt, man. Like,
his shirts
those are the
fucking
classics.
gnarly, dude.
He's got some pretty badass shit. He's got like WCW pants. I think it was one show.
He had
WCW pants. Like, bro, this dude's fucking awesome. Like, I used to not like this guy. I'm like, you know what? I like you. Any man that has WCW crap on you deserves a liking, in my opinion.
You know what? I have a
That was
question
one of the
to ask
bucket
you.
list items having him announced.
Do you have any fun Nick Gage stories in your time with GCW?
The best one is we were at Walgreens in Vegas, and he was like, Nick is like filling his arms with like muffins and like candy bars and shit. And Brett, the promoter of GCW, was like going behind him, like trying to sneak it out and putting like fruit and shit in his arms and stuff. And he's like, "The fuck is this?" It was pretty funny. And Brett was like, "You don't be eating all this." And he's like, "I eat this every day." And Brett's like, "I know." It was fantastic. It was the most Nick thing because he's like filling this, he's like filling this thing with sweets, and fucking Brett's trying to slowly replace him with fruits and shit. And he's like, "What is this shit?"
Instead of saying, "Where's my fucking gang at?"
I would love to get him on here.
Where's my fucking food at?
Yeah, he's like, "Where's my fucking muffins at?" Yeah, dude.
Oh god. I tell you what, the dark
Eat
side
little
of the ring,
Debbie. Oh, fucking Debbie.
It's just crazy how he'll be bleeding from like ear to ear and have cuts everywhere, and he'll just be having a normal conversation with you, and like he like makes every person like he's also one of like the true just good souls in wrestling because like he takes the time to make it like if he talks to somebody he takes the time to make you feel like you're actually talking to him. And he's not just like, "All right, kid, fucking get out of here." Blah, blah, blah. Like he's fantastic. Which all the GCW guys have been awesome to me. So I can't say a bad thing about any of them.
Well, let me ask you this: what do you think about Ricky Shane Page at the time as the GCW World Champion?
I mean, Ricky was cool to me too, and he's a great he's another underrated guy. Like he was a fantastic wrestler.
Dude, he's in a stable
just
with
not even without the
and
deathmatch
Akira.
Stuff. He is a fantastic wrestler. So I'm glad to see that because he's an MLW, right?
Yeah, he's under Raven's wing, dude.
It's called the Calling.
So
now. That's their name.
Yeah, so that's fantastic for him because he's definitely one of the deathmatch guys that's underrated as far as they're like
another
their technical abilities.
I would love to have on the show Akira, the deathmatch
he's great
samurai.
Too. For sure, yeah, he's awesome. Too.
I love watching that guy wrestle. Like I don't know what it is. I guess because he's got a mohawk, like yours truly. But it's like, and I try to get him on the show. I was like, bro, look, we could bond together. We both got mohawks, bro. Like we look awesome together. It'd be great for you to come on the show. And all I got was just a yellow heart. And I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, he's cool.
But no, him and RSP are in a faction with Raven called The Calling. I'm actually intrigued to see how this is going to turn out because, like, it's like what Dan said.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And with Raven of all people, like if there's any great mind in the wrestling world, it's 100% Raven. I mean,
Raven's getting like shoulder surgery, and I think he said he's going to return to the ring. I'll be curious how it is.
But you know what? The only thing that sucks about that, though, is not Raven returning to the ring. He's probably one of the greatest minds in professional wrestling. Yeah. But the only thing that sucks about the whole MLW thing, they only signed a 10-episode deal to Reels, and they're already almost up. So when that goes, they're not going to have TV, which really sucks because MLW is a fun promotion to watch.
Not only that, they probably will go back on YouTube. I think them on YouTube was a great thing because it's free, number one. And number two, you look at today's media, right? You look at AEW. AEW's with Dark Elevation. They put all their shows on YouTube, and it's free. At the time, NWA put their show Power. It was on YouTube, and you could catch it for free. Fast forward all the ads and all the bullshit, and you can watch it. Same thing with MLW. MLW would drop an episode every week, and it was really good. You know what I mean? So I kind of hope they return that if they do already. But yeah, it sucks that they only have like a 10-episode deal with Reels. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I want MLW to kind of branch out and become like that third great company aside from your WWEs, your Ring of Honors, your Impact, AEW. All that stuff. NWA, on the other hand, now, no, absolutely not. I do not want to see NWA rise up because it's and look, to be real, and this may piss some people off. This is just my thought. The fact that you got a walking behemoth moron as a champion is just, it's not good for business. And I mean, no disrespect to Tyrus, I'm not a fan of this dude, bro.
I don't know. When I think NWA World Champ, it's not him.
It's Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis, yeah.
If it's not him, it's fucking Trevor Murdoch.
This is the real world's champion right here, right?
Yeah. Well, take out that WWE logo and yeah.
Well, you know what? Hey, I got this belt for free, bitch. All right.
Hey, bitch, I got my belt signed by Mick Foley. What are you doing with your life? And he was super cool. Like, I met him. We talked about the Attitude Era, man. It's like, man, I was like 5 years old when you got thrown off the cell. It's like, yeah, well, everybody tells me that kind of good stuff. Ha, ha, ha. Sign the belt and all that shit. Like, he was super cool. Mick Foley, a lot of people say he's super cool. He definitely was. He even had his little Dude Love wig, which I find hilarious, and he had his little mask. And it's like, well, let me ask you this. Why you sitting next to me? The mask that you have, is that legitimately real leather? It's like, yeah, it was based off a catcher's mitt. I never knew that. I've heard stories and rumors like, oh, it's actually based off an actual catcher's mitt or whatever the case may be. But I was like, I got to ask the man himself. I want to know if this is true or not because, I mean, I grew up watching this guy along with Taker, along with Kane, along with the DX and the Rock and Stone Cold, like all of them. I want to know if this shit's real. You know what I mean? So... And we had like a 5-10 minute conversation about the Attitude Era and how great it was. And I was like, bro, hands down, my favorite gimmick that you had was the Commissioner Foley gimmick. It was fun. Yeah. So fun. And awkward silence is coming in.
Oh, my bad. I didn't know if you froze or what. My bad.
No.
Now he did.
I was going to say, you did that time.
All right. Well, we'll wait till Nick gets back because I think we're going to...
we're just waiting to see...
Wrapping up.
About ready to wrap this up.
There you go.
So, my connection's unstable. I know this. We're trying to fix the damn thing, and you want to still act stupid. So, this is the time where we want to give it to you. Where can we find you? Where can we... all your social stuff. So without further ado, take it away, man.
You can find me pretty much on everything: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, the Sam Stackhouse. There's thesamstackhouse.com is also a thing. My merch is going to be available for sale soon on there where you can just order it.
We got merch.
Because I make all my own merch. So I got stickers, rolling trays, t-shirts. I do all of it myself. I also do other wrestler stuff. It's been pretty awesome. As far as live, I got some. I'll be in Colorado on the 24th and the 25th. I'll be in Colorado Springs 24th, and then Denver on the 25th and the 26th. So I'll be there. I'll be in Denver Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That's gonna be my Colorado debut. So that's looking forward to that. I got Oklahoma's first death match coming up next month. So if you're in the Oklahoma area, come out and see that. If you're in Denver area, come and see me. I'll be in Texas again. April 29th is the deathmatch tournament down there. I know the next day after that, I'll be in Waco, Texas.
Oh Lord,
the heart of Texas. Yep. So got some big shows coming up. I'll be that Mania. I'll be in LA for Mania weekend. So if any of y'all are out at any of the cons or any of the shows there, come out and say hi. So be hanging out.
Oh yeah,
hell yeah, man!
I might have to hit up that death match.
That's what I was about to say. I might have to hit that death match thing, man.
Come on up.
Tag along with Danielson over there. Because here's the thing, when I go to Texas, right? We always almost meet each other because like I'll be posting on Facebook, and I mean I just got back from a cruise not that long ago. Yeah. We went eating Galveston at the Rainforest Cafe. Dan got all salty about it. He's like, "Oh, you could have told me because I live about an hour away. Like whatever." It's like, well, dude, I didn't know. I'm with my in-laws. I'm with my extended family.
Just meet on the April 29th and bond over blood.
Yeah, bond over freaking blood.
Bond over blood.
Next, then in the following week, me and Dan will have probably not COVID is the other word with the blood, the tetanus shit.
Herpes.
Good God, not fucking herpes. Anyway, yes, and then I got all my shit. By the way, before we go, do you watch the current wrestling product?
Oh yeah, I watch more wrestling. This entire time I've had wrestling on the screen right here. I might watch more wrestling than any person I know. That's pretty much all. Like the wrestling and TikTok is pretty much my source of entertainment.
Literally,
nowadays.
What I watch: horror movies, wrestling, anime, TikTok. That's it. Now, speaking of horror movie, I just got done finishing up Terrifier 2. And, oh my fucking God, I love that movie. That is definitely up there as one of my all-time favorite horror movies.
Have you ever seen it, Stam?
I've seen the first one. I haven't watched the second one.
The first one's wild.
The
second one takes it, turns up to 11.
Because that's the one with that, clown-looking mask.
Yeah, Art the Clown.
With the fucking teeth.
Yes.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
Isn't Chris Jericho involved in it or something?
Yes.
Yes, he's at the very end of Terrifier 2.
Yeah, it's this guy right here.
Yeah. I watched the first because it's on Netflix, right?
No, that one's on Tubi.
It's on
the first
Tubi.
one's on Tubi.
Well, I watched the first one somewhere because I remember watching. Because I remember seeing that. Yeah, I know.
It's on either Vudu or YouTube, and I got it off of YouTube.
Yeah.
Dude, the second one, really quick before we go, when he's on top of that woman and he's slicing her up, and he sticks salt in her back. I'm like, dude, literally, dude, take Terrifier 1 and turn that bitch up 13 notches. I mean,
it's like he pours the salt, and he pours the acid first, and he pours the salt.
I can confirm.
After. The first thing I thought about,
the salt in the wound sucks.
The first thing I thought was, I think it was Sick Nick Mondo and Jason, or no, it was Messiah. And Messiah just had his thumb cut off, right? And it was like a spot. Nick Mondo comes out with a bucket of freaking salt and just pours it all over the ring.
No, that was wife beater. Messiah.
Yeah,
it wasn't Messiah. It was wife beater in the first tournament of death.
And I know that. But anyway, he pours salt in the woman's all over her face, acid all over her face. And he just Mortal Kombat's the shit out of her, just yanks the face off. I'm just like, bro, that is wild. This movie, man. If you're a big fan of horror movie, if you're a big fan of gore, slasher type stuff, Terrifier 2, man, that is the way to go, in my opinion. Fucking love that movie. So, just want to share that a little bit because we're talking about good stuff.
Check it out.
Go check it out. This wraps up our interview with Sam Stackhouse. Once again, we want to send a special shout out and a special thank you to Sam Stackhouse for winging us, dealing with my internet problems because my internet wants to decide to act like a bitch, and also hanging out with us. Sam, if you ever want to come back on the show, you know where to holler at us.
Hey, anything. Yes,
Or part
anytime.
two.
I don't do much during the week anymore. I don't live like a real life anymore. I get to wrestle and I get to I've been telling people I'm living a crazy life the past couple of years. So I get to do something I love and take care of my family by doing it, and it's insane. So anytime you want me, just hit me up.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Well, in that case, we're gonna wrap.
Well, I'll mention it anyways. We're gonna wrap up the show, everybody. I guess. And Nick's in Frozen Land.
This up real quick. Again, I'm frozen. Really? God, if it's not Dan with a shitty background, it's me frozen up. Anyway, if you like what you see, head on over to youtube.com/whatakayfabe. Check out all of our past videos and other stuff. If you're considering subscribing, please hit that subscribe button and tap that bell on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our stuff whenever we go upload our video. We also got merch. Check out our link tree. We got merch. We got all kinds of good shit. T-shirts, hats, underwear, cooking aprons, mugs, anything, we have it. So, with that being said, I am the Venomous One, Nick Venom, along with my two good friends, Staggerly Crocker and Dan. I'm too big for what a kayfabe, mother effing man, and we are out of here.
Gentlemen, as you know, the Ultimate Warrior. Fuck it. It's publicly stated that, damn it, who put that up? Is that $200 an hour?
That's all.
Oh, me gusta.